This is like coming downstairs in the middle of the night to find your dad drinking milk from the fridge, but he's only got a shirt on, no pants. And it's just you seem unperturbed by this. Okay, well
I grew up in
that's
Britain.
worrying all on its own. Right. Hello and welcome to Talk Spooky to Me, the Ghost Story Guys mail show. I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestel.
And this is our opportunity to hear from you, our audience. Paul Bestel, my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. Been a quiet week, really, compared to the last few. So it's just been nice to do bugger all, essentially. Well, I say that. I've worked, been shopping. It's not like I've sat about in my pants.
It's the Paul Bestel version of bugger all, which is busier than most people's full on.
Yes. I did watch a documentary about the Titan submarine incident.
Oh, I heard that was out. How was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was an Icarus story.
You could say that, or you could say it was one man's ego ignoring all safety and legislative protections purely to massage his ego and make as much money as possible, that ultimately led to the untimely death of 4 innocent people.
That doesn't sound like a thing that happens.
No.
Rich people ignoring rules at their peril, and ours.
What was interesting was seeing Josh Gates turn up on the BBC one, because they did a whole episode of Expedition Unknown on it. And they took Josh down, and as they were doing it, everything broke. The software, the balancing, the engines, all the systems, everything failed. And so they had to abort the drive and come back up. And he was showing you that when you get in it, they bolt you in. There's no escape hatch. There's nothing. You're bolted in. You have no way out of that submarine at all.
Even coffins you can get out of.
Yeah. And so when they came up, they finished it and they carried on. And then he said he went home for a couple of days and he slept on it. And then he rang Discovery Channel up and he said, "We can't show this. We cannot show this episode." He says, "Someone is going to die and I do not want to be part of this."
Holy shit.
And so they went, "If that's what you think, then we'll pull it." And they pulled it. So they showed clips of his footage that he recorded of an episode that'll never be aired. And he looked scared. I mean, Josh has been in some hairy situations over the years. That's the most scared I've ever seen him, I think. Apart from that time he nearly fell through a ladder on, was it Destination Unknown about 10 years ago? You could see it coming a mile away. Just this bloke's arrogance. He just bullshit.
Yeah, that was the world's most predictable disaster. And I won't make any jokes about it because people died and I'm sure it was frightening. But, it just was how anyone didn't see this coming is, well, people did. It's just that the people who make decisions like to pretend that they somehow are operating according to a different set of rules.
They don't remember those conversations, is what they said. That's not the recollection of the conversation they had, or words to that effect. I mean, it's one of those, like the knobhead that I work with, who's just the work knobhead. When it happened, he went, "What the bother in looking for them then if they're all dead?" Because a 19-year-old man died. You bellend. Shut up. Have you ever thought about not saying anything? Ever? You dick.
Yeah. This is again, like I got no love for the ultra wealthy, but people are people. Suffering is suffering. And I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of sit back and go, fuck those guys. I mean, fuck the guy who made the thing because he put those people in that position. He presumably misrepresented the safety of the journey. I can't delight in the deaths of, well, there's a handful of people whose deaths I will ultimately delight in, but not these people. Well, I've been playing an Xbox game called Still Wakes the Deep, which is about an oil rig in the North Sea in 1975. And similarly terrifying things happen in relation to water. And so I think the takeaway from this one, folks, is, yet again, stay out of the ocean.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, an oil rig in the North Sea was the first official confirmation of freak waves.
Of course, yeah. And I tell you, man, there's some scenes where you are on the outside of the rig trying to get around certain roadblocks. Terrifying. Just the rendering of the sea is very effective. It is, shit your pants scary.
It's quite daunting because when you fly from England to Norway, you fly over the North Sea oil fields, and so you see them just like tiny little things stood there in a vast expanse of sea.
Hard pass, my man, hard pass. Although I did think of you as I was playing it because, of course, most of the characters are Scottish, with a handful of Englishmen thrown in, and they were talking shit about Barnsley FC.
Well, in the 1970s, they probably wouldn't know much about them, really. So I think they're overplaying their hand there and banter.
That could be. Well, you know where we will not overplay our hand, and that is in handling this listener mail.
Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
All right, first up is from Autumn on Instagram. Autumn says, "Hi, Brennan. My name's Autumn, and I'm currently listening to episode 127, The Call of Dreams, the episode you did with Kev. Kev is the reason I listen to your podcast, by the way. He recommended it on We Need to Talk About Ghosts. Anyway, you guys were just talking about the terrible gift of getting premonitions, and I have this terrible gift, and I would like to share some of mine. I've been getting these since I was a child. The first premonition I got is when I was with my great-grandmother. I suddenly just knew that would be the last time I would see her. She passed about a week later. My second premonition is a couple years later. My dad was getting ready for work. He had a 30-ish minute drive to get there. I had this weird, vivid vision. I saw him driving and a semi hit his car. I knew he'd get in an accident. I cried and begged him to stay home. He did not believe me. He left. About 30-40 minutes later, he called and my mom answered the phone. I knew it was my dad. He told my mom that he had gotten into an accident with a semi on the way to work, and the car was totaled and he was hurt. They started believing me after this. My next premonition was a couple years ago. I did not get a vision this time, but I had a bad feeling that my sister was going to get in an accident. I told her to be careful. I didn't know when it was going to happen. 2 days later, my sister was riding her moped to wherever and got in an accident. I predicted 2 of her accidents. I can only get premonitions of bad things happening, and even then, it's very rare I get them. Anyway, love the podcast, love you and Paul. I will soon send stories of my paranormal experiences with family members and what could possibly be the Hat Man. Thank you guys for getting me through work every day, and have a good one." Well, thank you, Autumn. And Autumn actually sent that a while ago. I don't check my message requests very often on Instagram, and it had been tucked in there for, I'm going to say, 18 months or thereabouts. So we have since been in touch. And again, thank you, Autumn. Tell you, Paul, I would not want premonitions.
They're not nice. I've had one. I don't want any more.
Yeah, that's it, man. I worry enough about the future. The last thing I need is someone telling me when bad things are going to happen.
We expect bad things to happen anyway due to our spectrum diagnoses.
Yes, sir. That is exactly true.
We don't need dreams as well. We feel like that whilst we're awake. Bugger off.
That's right. The Ghost Story Guys, powered by anxiety and autism.
And caffeine.
Oh, a lot of that. A lot of that. A lot of that. Oh man. I bought one of those Keurig machines when I moved to here to London. And I've been trying different pods, seeing, and I understand they're an ecological disaster. I get it. But I have it anyways. And I've been trying different pods, and of course now I've been trying to shop more Canadian. And I got one, man. And the best one I've had is just the generic store brand of this one supermarket chain here. It's a Canadian chain. The branding is so nondescript that I actually forgot where I bought it from, and there's nothing on the branding to indicate where it was. I had to go full Sam Spade sleuth mode to try and figure out where I bought these fucking things. But man, it was great coffee.
You should have got Bill on the case.
Bill?
Exorcist Bill. He knows. He'll sort shit out.
I'm very curious to know exactly what you're talking about, or if you're just having a stroke of some kind.
Get Bill Friedkin on the case.
Oh, of course, yes.
Where to buy this fucking coffee?
Funny you mention, because we have coming up a message about that. I'll just read it here quickly. It's from Courtney on Spotify about radio everywhere. She said the Billy Friedkin impersonation took me smooth out. I got to say, Courtney, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. I already took out a 5-minute segment from the last patron chat where Bill Friedkin and Jack Nicholson were shouting at each other. Just for 5 minutes straight. I was listening to it. I'm like, this is just chaos. This is bad. And I pulled the whole thing out. I don't know that it was. This is like coming downstairs in the middle of the night to find your dad drinking milk from the fridge, but he's only got a shirt on, no pants. and it's just you seem unperturbed by this. Okay, well
I grew up in Britain.
Worrying all on its own. Right.
We were just glad he was drinking the milk.
That's fair.
Yeah, ironically, a reel popped up on my Instagram yesterday, and it was Bill Friedkin just effing and jeffing about everybody apart from him.
He had a quote I loved. It was about Oliver Stone had said that DVDs only have a shelf life of 20 years and then they degrade. And he's like, what the fuck does he know? Shut the fuck up. I have DVDs that from 20, 30 years ago, they still work fine. What does Oliver Stone fucking know about DVDs? It was just great.
So I said to Oliver, fuck you and your DVDs. In fact, I'm going to take one of these DVDs, Ollie, and I'm going to shove it right up your fucking ass.
Yeah, no, that's...
The only thing that degraded is your ass.
Coincidentally, I bought a monthly subscription to Vinegar Syndrome in January, and one of the titles for this month was William Friedkin's Jade, the director's cut. So I'm super stoked. I have seen the theatrical cut. I've never seen the director's cut. I'm very excited to see one of the most awkward, sexy movies of all time. Full and, the way a very shouty man wished it to be seen.
Bet that comment director's track's going to be fun.
Oh, I hope so. I
Look
hope
at his ass.
Oh yeah. So, anyways,
could be worse. Could be Body of Evidence. That's one of the most cringeworthy, sexy films made, isn't it?
Is that the one with Madonna and Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, and the light bulb scene. What the fucking hell's all that about?
I've seen a lot of awkward, like sexy kind of thriller movies and like 90s sort of noir, sexy noirs, and that one takes the cake. Although Sliver's up there.
Yeah, they shouldn't. When I was watching that, I was thinking, you don't want to do that with a light bulb. I've still got bits of glass in my head from a light bulb, love. You don't want to get that in your bum and be there forever. What's you doing?
Maybe they were hoping it would start glowing. They were trying to find their keys.
Well, nothing surprises me in Hollywood. Woke Hollywood.
I think you mean Holly Weird, Paul.
They're all in the Illuminati.
Oh wow, you've been hanging out with the doctor I saw yesterday who started talking to me about Jordan Peterson. Having a great conversation with this doctor. We're vibing. She's like, I mentioned I make podcasts, and she's like, oh, I love Jordan Peterson. I have to go.
Yeah, I think it's because somebody at work said to me yesterday, do you think the universe is a simulation? And I just went, and then I walked off. Didn't even bother responding. No, I'm not rising to this shit.
Oh God, is it even rising? I think you're lowering yourself like this dude in the video game I was just playing.
It's probably because I watched Oak Island last night. That's what it is. It's all fresh in my mind. It's Illuminati, Knights Templar, Jesus. It's all there, man.
It's all something.
Yes. Apparently, people from Michigan are really impressed by tunnels, is what I've gathered in Malta.
I got to be honest, man. People just have a giant boner for tunnels. Every town, their legend, their one common legend is there's secret underground tunnels. People are besotted by the notion of tunnels. Something about underground. I don't know what it is.
Yes. Well, one of our secret tunnels isn't very secret, but it's called Megatron. Imagine that.
I'm impressed.
It's our Victorian drainage system that's still there 200 years on. It's called the Megatron.
The Megatron?
Yeah. It's a giant underwater culvert to divert the numerous Sheffield rivers under the city. It's an incredible feat of engineering. You can visit it occasionally in the summer. But yeah, what a cool name for it. It was called the Megatron.
Why that?
I don't know what those Victorians were on. Opium, probably.
That I believe.
So, yes, I don't know. What you built there? We've built a Megatron. It's right good.
No further questions. Megatron it is.
Onward.
All right.
Next up, Anonymous writes, thank you for a very enjoyable podcast. I am listening to an old episode, 185, as I am writing this, and I had the sudden urge to reach out. I'm binging the episodes, but I've never wanted to share any of my own experiences before. I'm truly sceptical, but still open to the possibility that we actually don't know it all. So it's 2003, and I have a boyfriend in Germany at the time. During this period, I'm more open to the paranormal, and I'd just begun a journey of personal growth. I was doing some meditation and therapy, and a lot of new agey stuff that I've long since moved on from. My boyfriend at the time was very sceptical and very down to earth. So around Christmas 2003, I'm in Sweden where I live, and I have a horrible nightmare. I'm in a skyrise in a big city, and I'm looking out over it. Below me is a sports arena lowered into the ground instead of rising above it, so it resembles a pit with the stadium inside it. Suddenly, I see this huge wave approaching in the distance, and I realise it's a tsunami. And as it draws closer, I realise all the people gathered in the stadium will die once the wave reaches them. The waters will flood this pit, and they'll all die, and there's nothing I can do except scream, but nobody in the stadium can hear me, and then I wake up. When the morning arrived, I still remembered this very upsetting dream, and I called my boyfriend. As I start telling him my dream, he just gasps. As it turned out, he'd had a similar dream, and in his dream, he was trying to help people escape from a large tsunami. He was trying to get people to go inside this large stadium, and I assumed his goal was to get them to climb into the rafters to get higher up. Now, as I said, he was really sceptical, so for him, as well as for me, this was a really strange coincidence, with us both having a very similar dream. He was living in Germany, and as I said, I was in Sweden. A year later, the tsunami happened over in the Indian Ocean. We were no longer a couple, but we spoke on the phone at the time. I don't remember that phone call, but I'm pretty sure we were both in shock about what had happened and about the dream we'd had a year before. I don't really believe in premonitions or clairvoyance as I have understood it, but I have had a lot of these things happen to me. Nothing as big as this, but I do sometimes see stuff before it happens, and I do know things about people that I can't possibly know. My explanation is that I give myself when I feel I need answers to this, that it is somehow connected to the fact that time and space do not work in the way we think they do. As English is my second language, I don't really have the words to explain. But that's all it is for now. Thank you again for a really nice pod.
Thank you, Anonymous. Coincidentally, I was watching some Facebook recommended some reel to me today, and it was this British couple in Indonesia during the tsunami, or just prior to the tsunami. And I think it was very British because they were more concerned about what they were going to do with the beachwear that they had with them, like the chairs. Because, the smaller waves started coming in, and they're like, oh, we got to take these chairs with us. I got to tell you, man, if I'm ever somewhere and I see the sea go out, where I'm sitting is the last thing I'm going to be worried about.
Fuck the chairs.
Yeah, that's the official position here on Ghost Story, guys. Fuck the chairs.
Follow the elephants. Fuck the chairs.
Yeah, I am with you. And again, Anonymous, I would not want it to have any kind of power of premonition.
I think the thing is, as well, they are not, certainly to that level, they are not common at all.
That's fair, yeah. Not like an earthquake.
This century we've had two major ones, which was Boxing Day in 2004 and then 7 years later the Japanese one.
Right.
Obviously you can see the difference in coverage in just 7 years, because obviously 2004 not many people had camera phones. So a lot of it we've got sort of video camera recordings or local people. Whereas by 2011, everybody's got a camera on the phone, everybody's videoing stuff. You see all kinds of crazy shit compared to that. So I'm still some of the stories you hear, because obviously we just passed the 20th anniversary, and obviously a lot of Brits were out there when it happened. We lost a lot, several thousand, I believe.
1,000.
Yeah, the death toll is still around 260,000, isn't it?
Wow.
And I think they say there's 40,000 missing, which I'm not trying to be negative about this, but it's been 21 years. I don't think they're missing, sadly. And there were probably more, because you've no idea. Certain indigenous places were knocked out. I'm trying to think. There was one African country nearly lost its entire fishing fleet. And they were nowhere near. One of the east coast of Africa countries, I can't remember which one it was, but the tsunami waves reached the coast of Africa, went down to Australia. I mean, this was a global situation. I believe it knocked the Earth off its axis slightly. I mean, the floor of the sea rose something ridiculous. There's like an enormous fracture there now. Where
wow.
I can't even think. I'm trying to think 900 feet dip that occurred. I might be just pulling that figure out the air. But it was such a monumental, So how anybody survived being there, I don't know. And you hear some stories that just absolutely, you just think, how did you survive that? How?
It's chilling stuff, man. It is a great reminder that we exist at the planet's mercy. It is by the good grace of planet Earth that we continue to live here. And honestly, and I think I've said this before, I think that if we had positioned the climate change argument this way, I think if we had said, instead of we got to love Mother Earth, we got to look after Mother Earth, if we had said we got to take care of this shit or else Big Daddy Earth is going to take us to the woodshed, I think we would have had a completely different response. Instead of like, oh no, we're stewards of the earth, we got to take care of the earth. Like, no, we got to take care of the earth because otherwise the earth's going to beat the merciless fuck out of us.
Absolutely. I mean, we're obviously where we live, we're very fortunate. We've only potentially had one here in modern history, and that was in 1607, known as the Bristol Incident.
Okay.
2,000 people were killed.
Oh my God.
So people just woke up and the sea was there. And we're not really sure what caused it, I think. They're not sure because we had a terrible storm surge here in the 50s that drowned people in their beds because it hit the southeast of England at around 4 a.m.
Oh God.
And just swamped all the southeast coast, Essex and stuff. It's one of the British disasters nobody talks about. And there were loads and loads of people killed. But we just don't for some reason we don't talk about it in this country. It's very odd sometimes where bad things like that happen and nobody talks about it. And you're like, well, this was a terrible, terrible situation. I mean, it was sinking ships. It was that strong a storm. And the surge just came in, like I say, at the worst time. So everybody was fast asleep.
Jesus. Well, I think I've told you before, the one time that we've had a full-on tsunami alert, I woke up to it in Victoria. Like it was, I woke up and I looked at my phone. It was at 7. I think I woke up at 10, and it said, possible tsunami warning. So there had been an earthquake somewhere in the Pacific, and I thought, well, I'm sure glad it didn't happen because otherwise I'd be fucked. Because we live on the ground floor, we're pretty much at sea level. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Great survival instinct there, Storr.
So yes, who knows? I mean, for two people to have dreams that coming from opposite ends of the experience is quite odd.
'Tis. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I always find that interesting, like shared dreams. That's, again, something I've had a little bit of experience with in the past. And I just, we have obviously no mechanism with which to understand that, but I refuse to believe this is pure chance.
I agree.
So, yeah, Anonymous, if you have more stories such as this, please do send them in. All right, we got a couple short ones, and then we're going to take a quick break. So first up, we have from Potato Thief on YouTube Shorts. Love that name. They say, Brennan, that Event Horizon poster is ace. Thank you, Potato Thief. I love it very much. I used to collect movie posters when I was younger. I had a pretty solid collection. And then when I moved to the coast, I just didn't bring most of them with me. So I've been trying to rebuild my collection a little bit. That one, that's a theatrical original. That's 1997 original. So that cost me a few bucks. But worth it because I fucking love Event Horizon. After that is David. David, this is via the website, ghoststoryguys.com. We have a form there you can use to send us stuff. David says, one note, many cultures have exorcism. It was not invented by Catholics or unique to Catholics. You're 100% right, David. I don't know if it was, I don't know which of us may have suggested that, but this is definitely something we knew, but we obviously did not communicate that very well. So thank you for the correction.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Goblin writes on Patreon, David Thompson was one of my great 4 times removed uncles. I didn't realise he was the first white person to encounter Bigfoot.
There we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Goblin. Yeah, David Thompson. I was listening to the edit of the Alberta show when you were telling that story, and you said David Thompson right at the front. Somehow my jackass brain just missed it, because afterwards I said, "Oh, it was around the time David Thompson came through." Yeah, dipshit. That's just what he said. You handled it very gracefully. You didn't say, "Yeah, dong. What did I just tell you?" Which is probably what I would have done.
I just thought you weren't paying attention to me as usual.
What? Huh? Oh, Paul, you're here. When'd you get here? We should start the show soon.
One for the kids
next
there.
up. Yeah, exactly.
Heather also writes to us on Patreon. I'm listening to this now at work, and y'all unintentionally make me cry talking about hospice patients that would suddenly come out of comatose states and start talking as if nothing was wrong. I can't tell you how much I wish that would happen with my mum a few days that she was in the hospice, just so I could talk to her again. It's a kind of synchronicity to go through that so recently, and then hear Paul talk about it. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Heather.
Yeah, same here, Heather. Again, that's awful, and we hope you're doing well.
Yes, don't listen to my next episode.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, right? Yeah, that's got the NDE one.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta gird my loins.
Yes, there will be a lot of talk about terminal lucidity in that.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Just sometimes, yeah, that stuff gets me. And I mean, I have not had any sort of interaction with this, but just the concept of it, I find deeply upsetting.
It is peculiar.
Next up is from Laura Wade on YouTube. Laura says, and this is on our last episode of Talk Spooky. This is on wrestling, with ghosts. Laura says, your first story. They stated that their experience happened when they were 6 years old. She saw 3 beings at the side of her bed. She tried to wake her husband up. Where did the story take place that 6-year-olds are married? Laura, yeah, no, I think that was in a mistake in how we read it. I had to look back at the original script, and I think it's, yeah, I think, again, that was on us, not our listener. Although there are certain politicians who, I wouldn't be shocked if they were trying to make that particular correction. I won't say where, because some people will get upset. Some other dipshit will talk about my woke politics. I love it when these guys who clearly they have the same fucking vocabulary because they only listen to the same 5 shows, but they have the temerity to talk to us about groupthink.
It's just the woke virus, mate. Get over it.
Yeah, that's right. It's turning the frogs gay.
Oh, isn't? I was watching a nature program earlier, and do you know snails are hermaphrodites?
I did not know that.
And when they mate, they have a love spear, right?
I've read that book.
So basically,
book,
as they're copulating, they get these love spears, and whoever stabs the other one with the love spear first becomes the mum, because neither of them want to carry the eggs.
That's fair.
So they have an argument whilst they're having a shag. There you are. Bet you didn't know you'd learn that this week, did you?
I certainly didn't.
Yeah. Things you learn, you see. I was sat there eating my tea, and then next thing there's snails at it on me telly.
See, folks, you listen to some dumbass ghost show. They're just going to tell you stuff about white ladies and gray ladies. They're not going to tell you shit about how animals get it on. Here on the Ghost Story Guys, we bring you a wide spectrum of knowledge.
Yeah, it's like I could tell you about hairy wood ants, but I haven't got time for that.
That's true. We have guests coming soon.
Excellent.
All right, next up is from Trevor. Trevor says, hey guys, thank you so much. I wrote in requesting more stories from the Golden Horseshoe, and the immediate following episode drop is Ontario Ghost Stories. It put a smile on my face when you smacked down Alberta with facts, Brennan. It's a great start to my Tuesday. And the Haunted in Guelph story brought back my own bit of nostalgia with the US TV station Fox 29 out of Buffalo, New York. Those of us living close enough to Lake Ontario and Lake Erie got a slew of US stations as the broadcasts travel easily over the Great Lakes from places in Pennsylvania to New York City. Not surprised by the Sasquatch sightings. There are places not even more than an hour and a half north of Toronto that you can wander into the bush from, and it's a completely different world. Who knows what's actually out there? Having caught up in all of GSG, I'm now working through Eminem's back catalog, Paul, and enjoying all the interviews. It was quite a blast from the past hearing Brennan and Ian on episode 3, and amazed at how far separated the show is now from since you've joined as co-host. Now that I've waffled on, let me focus back on the potential second Ontario episode. So, obviously, I'm from that area in southern Ontario near the Great Lakes. You've probably read a fair bit about the area. And if you ended up in Hamilton, the first place I'd suggest you visit is the Scottish Rite. It has several hauntings and very interesting murder involving the building's original owner by his mistress next door and his butler, moving his body by wheelbarrow back by a supposed hidden passage to the Scottish Rite so as to avoid unwanted attention. Next would be Dundurn Castle, more so for the history, but it too has a list of hauntings. And being right next to Dundurn is the Hamilton Cemetery, it contains several mausoleums of prominent families. And I wasn't surprised to hear about the Italian mob in southern Ontario. Al Capone himself was rumored to frequent Hamilton as he smuggled booze through the port there, across Lake Ontario during Prohibition. A book I would suggest on the area is Haunted Hamilton by Mark Leslie. Another place I'd say to visit if you can is Fathom 5 National Marine Park / Bruce Peninsula National Park, located on the northernmost tip of the Bruce Peninsula. Within the marine park itself is 22 shipwrecks, with another 2 just beyond the park's borders. There's got to be something going on up there. And a cool little fact, the radio operators in the area back in 1914 picked up the distress calls from the Titanic. Keep up the great work, Trevor. Lastly, Brennan, I'll be in London Way on the 29th if you still want that beer. And yes, Trevor, I do. I've responded to you separately, and we will make that happen. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, sir. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to take a trip up to Hamilton. It's only about an hour and a half up the road for me. Check out some of these spots.
Definitely. Or head up to the Headless Valley.
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think. That's a little more than an hour and a half up the road.
Well, what's the worst that could happen up there?
We'll never know.
Okay. Just an idea.
There's plenty of other ways to kill me if you want to take over the show. Just like, you don't have to send me on a trip to do it.
Portlock. What about going there?
Oh, I'm sure Portlock will be fine. I'm gonna wear this suit made of meat I bought from my friend Lady Gaga. We'll see what adventures await.
It's not the polar bears you need to worry about there, mate.
No, you're not kidding.
The killer Sasquatch.
Truly a terrifying. Honestly, I still think about Luke Phillips' Rogue. Whenever you say Killer Sasquatch, I think about that book. That was a great book.
Yes. Can't wait for Southern Rogue.
Oh, me too. Has he talked about that, like any ETA? Not that as a writer, I know I hate being asked when's the next one coming, but...
No, not that I'm aware of. But I'm eagerly awaiting it, because I really love Rogue. I thought it was such a brilliant book. And if you haven't got it, get it.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I read it on Kindle. But it's a great book, however you get it. And Luke, and if you haven't listened to our episode Going Rogue with Luke, it was really a lot of fun. He was a really cool guy.
Yes, it's always nice to talk about incidents where people might have died at the hands of Bigfoot over the years.
That's the show. How the Paranormal Will Kill the Shit Out of You with Brennan and Paul. We actually had a comment on Patreon. I think it was Angel or Madman 1, or sorry, on Spotify, said, thank you for informing me of all the different ways I could die in Alberta.
Hey, just trying his best.
That's right. All part of the service here at Ghost Story Guys.
At least you haven't got venomous snakes up there.
No, we have rattlesnakes.
Are they on holiday?
Maybe, yeah. I know in, where is it? I think Kamloops, I think, has rattlesnakes.
You have that weird snake mating birth thing, don't you, in Canada, where there's like thousands and thousands of them, like a giant gyrating mass of sexy snakes.
I mean, it's possible. If it's a bunch of people getting together to have sexy fun.
No, they're snakes. It's not people.
Well, either way, I'm not getting a phone call. So I feel like if it's the snakes are doing it, similarly, yeah, they're not calling me.
Yes. I think Pat Spain, when he was on my show, was telling me about he fell in it and said it took him ages to get the smell off him.
I'm going to regret asking this. What did it smell like?
The worst thing you could possibly imagine, I think.
Jared Leto. All right, folks, we're going to have to draw a line under it there. We have... We're recording.
Poor Jared.
No, fuck that guy.
Trying his best to be a bad actor, and you just keep picking on him.
And a sex pest. Did you not see the report that just came out?
Well, I'm shocked.
9 women so far, I think.
And that was just on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, I would not be surprised. Talk about open secrets. All right, folks. Like I said, we're going to draw a line under it there. We're recording a couple episodes today. And we're very excited. Next episode, we're going to have a conversation with the fellas from Hometown Ghost Stories. So look forward to that. Paul, my friend, where can everyone find you online?
You can find Mysteries and Monsters across most social media platforms and all podcast sites.
Fabulous. I'm Largely the Truth on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd, and you can find my horror fiction show, Fear Daily, everywhere fine podcasts live. And of course, it would hardly be an episode of Talk Spooky without a song, and as promised on the last episode, we are proud to present a track from Bangers and Mash. Bangers and Mash are a touring band based out of Suffolk County, New York, and features our patron Liam Hudock on vocals and whistles. You can check out where Bangers and Mash is going to be playing by going to their website at bangersandmashband.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. And the track we're going to be playing for you today is Whisper Valley from their 2018 album Whisper Valley and Other Stories. Thanks again for listening, folks. Both Paul and I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. We will see you next week for episode 217, but until then, we will leave you with Bangers and Mash and